Hi friends. So as you know, I'm doing my own personal healing journey since my suicide attempt in 2007, and essentially all traditional Western medicine, meds, all of that jazz didn't really do the trick for me. There was just something more that I needed, but I wasn't sure what, which is why I'm here. But I'm here to really answer G. Hayes' question about crystal gridding and kind of what it does. So I'm going to give a very thorough answer, and I'm not anywhere near a professional on crystals, but I have taken some classes, so just going to go through some stuff with you guys real quick. So if you had asked me my opinion on crystals, like even just 5 years ago, I would have said that it was a complete sham, and I had the mentality of $8 for a rock. No, you've got to be kidding me. That used to be what I thought about it. So I never thought anything of it. But sure as shit, whenever I say that about something, that's when the answer ends up becoming clear to me over time. Then in 2018, I think is when crystals first really showed up for me. I was taking classes from a lady named Athena Parakis. She's known as Sage Goddess on YouTube, and she used to do 3 classes a month, one on crystals, one on herbs and essential oils, and then one that she called Magical Sabbatical, that was just essentially like anything kind of magical, whether it's like a moon ritual or a shamanic journey, such and such, something like that, or just talking about like some sort of a spiritual concept. That was kind of the catch-all class. So back in those days, you could purchase tools to go with whatever that she was doing for the month. And one of my favorites that she did was called the Blue Room Meditation. In that ritual, you essentially ask spirit, source, and your higher self, however you want to look at it, but you invite your higher self into this thing that she called the Blue Room. And you ask your higher self in this blue room of your imagination's own making, and you use this space to invite the higher self of someone else that either you're having a problem with or someone that you're just holding space for. Usually it could be somebody that you're having like a conflict with that you don't know how to resolve, so you're like giving it over to spirit type of thing, or someone that you're wanting to help but won't accept your help, or maybe you don't know them very well. But you would invite your higher self and the higher self of the person that you're going to bring into the room or group of people. And I usually say something like the all persons involved. So just as an example, when I first did this ritual, my middle sister and I weren't on very good speaking terms. So I did this ritual and I invited, my higher self, her higher self, and essentially anyone from my family that understood or was involved in whatever this conflict, of why we weren't talking. There wasn't really any particular something. We just have grown apart over the years. And I wanted to become closer with her. So I performed this little ritual. She called me within a week. So to me, I think it really works. But once everyone is invited into the space, it's up to the higher selves to work it all out. So essentially you just call everyone into the room, you kind of present what the problem is, or like, an intention of some sort. And you say, okay, higher selves, I'll work it out. And then you back out of the room and you tell your higher self to, dismiss everyone when it's time, kind of thing, whenever it's worked out. So this ritual came with specific crystals, a perfume, and a candle. So I incorporated those stones from that ritual into this grid just because they're my favorite and I've had powerful things happen with them. So I want to create this grid for all of us, and I've added some additional things to it that just make me feel good, kind of just what I was called to. But in general, here's kind of the way I see crystals. So supposedly each of them have their own energy stream, spiritual properties, all of that kind of jazz, right? And the thought goes that if you carry that crystal with you, then you're able to tap into those properties. And I started to notice when I first started working with crystals that I felt more tapped into that energy stream that crystal supposedly had. It took a little bit for me to kind of like feel it. And then, you know, that old adage like of when you don't want to forget something and you tie like a string around your finger so that you can remember what it is that you need to do, even if it's just like, myself back then thought, even if it's just that, like that, even if this is just supposed to serve as a reminder for me to do this, like to think of that energy stream continuously, even if that's the whole point, then that's enough for me to keep trying it, because maybe that is exactly what I need, is just a little bit of a reminder to, you know, tap into. Like the one I first got into was Mookaite Jasper, and that one is supposed to like connect you into playful energy, joy, and like embodying beauty. And for whatever reason, I felt magnificent when I felt more beautiful. I felt like it was like okay to play, it was safe to play. And I started to feel it. And to me, if I was able to do that and like keep working at it, like it was a good thing, right? And then the only other thing I'd say about crystals is that they can definitely help you to tap into your childlike imagination. That's, you know, of course, never a bad thing in my book. But you can create a relationship with a crystal kind of the way that you would like a toy when you're a kid. Like I remember I used to play with like, you know, stuffed animals or like dolls, or I know a lot of my friends played with My Little Ponies. So it's like they each had their own little like energy stream, you know, like this little pony has this. I wasn't really allowed to watch My Little Ponies because it was magical and my mother was afraid of magic. But, you know, that was kind of like the thing of My Little Ponies, was that each one had their own like little personality. They're kind of like that. That's how I kind of see crystals, is like that they're this little energy stream and they're little friends that can all talk to each other and play. And I think they really do help with understanding your intuition, like because you can start to pay attention and notice the subtle energy streams when you're working with one or the other. So those are my kind of thoughts. Then when it comes particularly to gridding, the point of a grid is to kind of create a little network of different energy streams that you need or want to attract into your life or into your living space, and you're using intention to do that. So in general, you usually use a generator, which would be like a pointy something. I'll show you a few examples. The one we're going to use specifically in this grid is it's called a phantom quartz. And I'm going to go through properties of all of the stones in a minute here. But we're going to use, essentially you use the generator as the center, and that's to connect the intention of the grid and the power of the grid, all of the different energy streams, and connecting it to spirit, right? So it's going up into the divine. And then you also use a clear quartz at the 4 directions. So like east, south, west, north. You put those all around, and that's to spread the energy outwards in all directions. So the quartz is like an amplifier type of thing. Like, so it's the one from above, you know, pulling divine spirit down, and, you know, also pushing the intention out. I kind of see it as working in both directions, but I usually will associate quartz in general as magnification or amplification. So it's like combining or doubling up on the power of the grid. And then you can place whatever other energy streams that you're wanting to attract into your space. You can, you know, again, you're incorporating them all into like a grid. So it's like a network. And the way that I was trained to quote unquote activate a grid is that you can use just your finger, because you are the most powerful tool. Or you can use a double terminated quartz point. Sometimes those are called Vogels. So they have a point on either end. So it's like directing energy again out and in. And I was always trained to begin in the east because the east is associated with dawn or sunrise. So it's the beginning. And then the south is considered like associated with the afternoon. And then the west is considered associated with like evening, twilight, sunset. And then the north would be nighttime. So we go from east and then around to north. So kind of what I like to do is I like to look at all of the spiritual properties of each of the stones that I'm putting into the grid and pick like one key word from that like little paragraph or couple sentences that it usually gives you about what a crystal like represents. And I like to choose like one word to like open the grid with. So let's take a minute and we'll look at the stones that are chosen for the grid. So now that we know a little bit about our stones, we're going to go through and we're going to actually open the grid. So what I do is I like to take just a little bit of a snippet of each of those intentions and I'm going to say them out loud. So whatever things speak to you. And you don't have to do the same thing. There's not really like really rigid rules on crystals. You can see in some places there's going to be doubles of them, and like the citrine ones, there's 4 of them. So I see that as being like that we want a lot of that, whatever that stone is, we're having multiples of that in the grid. So it's like combining and making that energy of that specific stone stronger. So as we're opening, we're going to like name one word for each of the stones, or like a couple words, you know, just kind of a little bit of an energy stream, just kind of remembering what that stone kind of means. So it doesn't have to be perfect, like Spirit's got you. And remember, you are the most powerful tool. So we can just use our finger if we want to, or we can do the whole thing with the Vogel. So either way really works just fine. So we're going to use our Vogel point and we are going to open the circle, start in the east. We're going to ask for all of the guardians of all of the sacred directions to join us in the circle, hold this space for us. Okay. And we're going to light our candle. In search of peace and in service of love, I enter the sacred blue room. By lighting this candle, I safely open the container of wisdom and knowing and call in the spirits of those with whom I am entangled. May we find good resolution and a path to lasting harmony for all in perfect time and full alignment with our soul's truest calling. So we're going to hold that there. Also comes with a little perfume. She trains you to put a little bit, anoint yourself at your third eye to bless the things that you know, a little at your wrists to bless the things you do, and then a little bit at your ankles to bless the places that you go. Feels nice. Okay, so now that our circle is open, we're going to go ahead and activate the grid. Okay, so for me on the grid, this way is the east. So we're going to go from the center. We're going to begin at the center, and remembering what phantom quartz means on a full capacity, even if we don't remember consciously right now, spirit remembers. Okay, so we're going to begin with phantom quartz in the center, which is for amplification and magnification, out to blue goldstone for communication, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to aventurine for manifestation and abundance, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to clear quartz for amplification and magnification, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to black tourmaline for grounding and clearing so we can embody, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to citrine for sunshine, prosperity, and enthusiasm, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to azurite for opening intuition, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to blue tiger's eye for vision questing and intuition, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to dioptase for wisdom and discernment, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to crystal quartz for amplification and magnification, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to morganite for innocence and sweetness and love, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to citrine for sunshine, prosperity, and enthusiasm, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, and out to mookaite jasper for joy and beauty and play, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to lapis lazuli for universal awareness and the collective whole, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to green aventurine for manifestation and abundance, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, and out to clear quartz for amplification and magnification, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to black tourmaline for grounding and clearing so we can embody, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to citrine for sunshine, prosperity, and enthusiasm, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to azurite for opening your intuition, and back to phantom quartz for magnification and amplification, out to aqua aura quartz for communication and alignment, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to dioptase again for wisdom and discernment, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to clear quartz for amplification and magnification, back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to angel aura quartz for awakening psychic abilities and for spirit guide connection, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, out to citrine again for sunshine, prosperity, and enthusiasm, and back to, oh, it's running away, wants to play, got too much enthusiasm, and back to phantom quartz for amplification and magnification, and out to mookaite jasper, ooh, wants to play too, for joy, beauty, and play. Yeah, they just don't want to stay. There we go. Thank you to the mookaite jasper for teaching us how to play. And back to phantom quartz at last for amplification and magnification. And this grid is now considered to be open. So now the grid's all active for you. And I'm just going to leave it up until I'm called to take it down, but it probably will end up lasting the whole time that we're in class, I'll bet you. But we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I think those are all really awesome intentions to hold for everybody. So I hold space for you and your healing and whatever other magical things are going on in your world. and whatever paths that you guys end up leading on. But would love to know more about what you've learned and where you're going. But see you later. Love you. Bye.